Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to your weekend edition of I Am Awakenings with myself, Wonderful Dale Jones. We are speaking about Nafsopathology, all about your emotional wellness. And for the last few weeks, we've been having an introduction about what is Nafsopathology. We were speaking to Karim Maliki about himself and this particular subject matter. And we have delved into so many aspects of this emotional wellness and how important it is, and to realize that there is many times an issue with our emotional wellness. And we said yesterday that we're going to touch on the aspect of how to get to a solution. If I have recognized and I have realized that, look, there is an issue, I need to kind of solve it. And so here again with us, Sheikh Karim Maliki. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Maulana, and all the listeners.
Sheikh Karim, mashallah, Allah Ta'ala bless you. Again, subhanallah, a subject that myself, even I am very negligent about, even my own emotional wellness,
Like all the men, like all of us.
Unfortunately, we tend to ignore those things, and we tend to kind of almost like push through, or let's just carry on, man. Let's just go on, and this is what life is about. And many times, again, when you see people that is emotionally well, then you realize, but this is not how everyone is. Why is this person happy? While his situation and my situation is exactly the same, but he's happy actually. He's actually, flourishing, but I'm still here, crying at night, or, I can't move forward, and all of these things. So when I come to that particular, realization, the question today is, what from there? Where do I go? What's next?
And what's the way forward?
Yes.
So like you have mentioned before, environment or what's outside can be exactly the same. Two different persons in exactly same situation. Yet one person, let's say if it was some difficult experiences, people able to move forward, and someone else not able to deal with it, get stuck, or even stops being a functional person of society. So what's next? Well, you have a kind of mainstream or official mental health industry. One is the medication, straightforward, and another one is psychotherapy, this kind of more psychoanalysis perspective, where it's going and talking about it. So in some cases it's better than nothing, definitely, but okay, for an average person like me, I can say, look, I was not seeing a psychotherapist or psychologist or whatever. Well, I was reading about it, I was listening some lectures and so on, but I can say the way forward is possible without any kind of psychotherapeutic drugs, which I never took, and it's also possible without all those long talk therapy session, because again, I was not attending any kind of psychotherapy sessions. Yet I can say for myself that it is possible to deal with what we can call neurosis, what we can call traumatic experiences, and create mindfulness and understand, okay, this situation happens, this emotion is rising, but I'm not going to, be triggered by it. I'm not going to be controlled by it. I can, look at it a bit from outside. Oh, okay, this happens, and such reaction comes up. What does it remind me of? What does it telling me to do? Why am I so angry? Why am I maybe so jealous, or so sad, or so lonely, or so bored, and so on? You're able to look at it like an observer, and then I can tell you can learn a lot. But besides all of this self-learning, I think the most important thing which we should be aiming for, and I think our goal setting must be always positive, not negative, not negating, getting rid of depression, getting rid of anxiety or whatever. Our goal should be positive, which is happiness. There's nothing else, because that should be the goal of therapy, counseling, consulting, whatever, coaching, whatever we can call it. We want to be happy. How are we gonna be happy? Is it because we somehow change the way we think about it? No, it's not gonna happen, because thinking is defined by our emotion. Is our happiness gonna be reached because we will achieve something outside? We buy a certain thing, we gain certain, degree, title, we will get so much fame and acknowledgement from the people. Not working this way. It's like literally the more you reach, the higher purpose you put in yourself, and then in reality it's not going anywhere. So the answer which I came up for myself, and it worked for me, this is what I called in the beginning is Nafsopathology, which is dealing with the nafs. And pathos and logos, they are there. Pathology not necessarily meaning problem. Pathos just means feeling. That's why we say pathetic. And logos means speech, and most importantly, reasoning. So it's basically understanding how emotions are affecting our reasoning, and not being, controlled and manipulated by it, but being mindful and being able to step outside and observe it. And you will understand that the same situation which were triggering you earlier, they're not triggering you anymore. In the same situation when you were scared, let's say, to try, to protect your boundaries, or just to take certain opportunities, suddenly you find yourself doing it. That's the all outcome, because the whole idea is to have a better life. There is nothing else. There's nothing else. It's not that even interesting. I know some people say psychotherapy, psychology, psychoanalysis so interesting. I'm getting so many insights. I'm not interested in insights. I'm just interested in having a happy face when I'm smiling and I'm seeing people around me. I understand they are not my enemies. They are all potentially my friends. This is the goal. This is the goal.
SubhanAllah. Allah Ta'ala accept, SubhanAllah. And a happy life, I love always the very beautiful ayah, the dua that we are taught, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. The hasana in the dunya, it is something that we, that we ask for, that we are taught to ask for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so Islam doesn't teach us to be miserable. The many times people look at the fact that Islam has the laws and this and this, and then you must be serious and so forth. No, subhanAllah, we smile like our Rasulullah SAW taught us, and we hope for a good life in this world and in the year after, inshallah. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. So Shaykh, I wanted to, this is our conclusion of our Nafsopathology, segment. I wanted to ask the question, like, how do we actually get involved with yourself in this regard? Our listeners, how do they get in touch with yourself?
Okay. So basically, one thing which I'm doing, that is a practice. That's when the people go and say, I have such and such problem, I would like to have consultation, and so on. That's one part of it. But I start realizing that that's not enough. I think we need to equip more people with these studies. So, for example, if I will talk about, let's say, churches and, Christian communities, it's absolutely, you could say, taken as granted that the person who is a pastor or is a priest in the church, he is supposed to have certain counseling capacities.
Yes.
So maybe it's not every imam is supposed to study psychology, but I think Muslims deserve, I think we should speak about it being fard kifaya as a communal obligation. إذا قام به البعض سقط عن الباقي, right? If some of us doing it, then this responsibility lifted from the rest. So we need to have these people who will help others process these emotions, identify them, set the goals, and actually process the emotion exactly the way what I do with the client. So to address the situation, next year, 2025, I will be teaching this exactly thing which I'm doing, which is you call it Nafsopathology practitioner course.
Okay.
So that will be delivered online. So no matter where are you in South Africa, you will be able to attend. It will be on weekend mornings. So I am offering scholarship because, again, as I say, it's something which is fard kifaya. In reality, it's a communal obligation, same like knowledge of Quran, knowledge of Arabic, knowledge of fiqh, and so on. So for people who would like to take the scholarship opportunities, they would have to contact their mosques, say that they would like to offer, they would like to enroll for such and such course and get a scholarship, and they will be able to contribute by doing what we call community work, where they will learn the skill and then they will be able to practice it with the communities.
SubhanAllah. Sheikh, before I have to cut you, you mentioned the fact that this is a fard kifaya. So I just wanted to perhaps elaborate on this concept, and you can perhaps also give some elaboration that fard kifaya. Normally we just think of janaza, because that's like the first thing we are taught. But Fard Kifaya is bigger than that. There's many other faraid that is kifayatan, and essentially what it means is that there is a need in the community that this thing must happen. And one of those things that is, we have to produce as a community citizens that is emotionally well. And if we do not, then we get the situation that we have in many towns, many communities, where there's no one that is willing to stand up. Why? Because most people is actually fighting their own demons inside their own homes. So you're still expecting me to go and do neighborhood watching while I can't even watch myself.
Exactly.
And so that having an individual that can ensure, or individuals that can ensure that if people have issues, traumatic experiences and so forth, and that they are looked after, they are seen to, they are helped in that regard, will benefit us at the end of the day, because those very people, if they are well, if they are emotionally well, they will contribute back into the community through whatever way possible. Your thoughts?
100%. I can't agree more. So, for example, let's see if we will get back to that very unfortunate situation when people start thinking about Islam when they heard the word Islamic State. Where did this Islamic State come? Yes, we can talk about theological, specific sect, specific wrong interpretation, but let's not forget that it all was a result of Abu Ghraib, Guantanamo, the devastating war which happened in Afghanistan, Iraq, and so on. It's what traumatized people, and what they were doing, they were, just taking that trauma on a bigger scale, and then we have all those atrocities which were done in the name of Islam. But yes, you could say theological problem, yes, but again, these people were already emotionally predisposed to take certain ideology, certain interpretation, which will allow them to unleash all of that violence and take revenge for everything which they went through. You can say the same about community.
Yes.
The same about community. People are witnessing violence on a daily basis. So they are witnessing violence on a daily basis. So, for example, you want to have, neighborhood watch, which is not going to discredit its own name, but some, unleashing violence in exchange. Or at the same time, if we want to say we want to have dawah, we want to have spread of Islam, but what do we want to have? We want to have people who look at Muslims. I don't know what's happening to these people, but I want to be like them. That's exactly what's happening, and this exactly what happens in our daily transaction. And the smile is the form of sadaqah, as we know. But for this, we need to be emotionally whole. We should not be those people who there is a certain chaos inside, and we are looking for an opportunity to just throw it out and be violent and aggressive. And of course, if you're speaking about our next generation, our youth and children, well, you cannot. I don't believe in parenting techniques and I say you're gonna do this, so you're going to get the good outcome. I personally believe that if you're yourself as a whole person, you healthy person, as a parent, most probably you're going to produce a healthy and wholesome child.
Mashallah.
But if you yourself, you are neurotized, dysfunctional, you can read as many books about parenting, you can try the most advanced techniques, but in reality, unfortunately, by means of conditioning, by means of teaching is not explicit, by implicit, because children learn by imitating, children going to repeat exactly your destiny, and they will pass it down further. And unfortunately, one thing I also have to mention, apartheid. That's intergenerational trauma. So that's beyond just poverty, that's just beyond crime. We need to understand that legacy still did not go anywhere. Like people like to say born free generation. Well, it's born-free generation, but what about all the social structures? What about all the education? What about things happening in household? What apartheid and I was abolished with all of them at the same time? No, on emotional level, which is much more before cognitive and rational level. Unconsciously, apartheid unfortunately exists, and people of color are still not feeling confident enough to step forward and go and take the opportunity, justifying it with whatever possible ways.
Yes, salam.
So if you want to have progress, we need to work with that.
Yes. Yes, salam. Sheikh, the last few minutes of our last segment of Nafsopathology, concluding remarks.
Okay, so concluding remarks, like you have asked me a question, how do we start doing it practically? And I have said, okay, there will be this online course where people are welcome to join, and there are also scholarship available for those who would like to give back to the community. They can contact me directly on WhatsApp by sending me a message 081 521 9803.
So that is,
I repeat, 081 521 9803 on WhatsApp.
So that's on WhatsApp, 081 521 9803. That is Kareem Maliki. With regard to Nafsopathology, this will be happening next year.
Next year, that will start in January, online, and all the details will be provided.
Inshallah, Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. Again, huge shukr to yourself for availing yourself and sharing with us this very beautiful, mental health and wellness. And may it be a means of us, becoming aware of our own issues, our own struggles, and a means of touching base with yourself and getting that very much needed help that we need for the betterment of our children. I love the example of the apartheid that you mentioned. For me, one word, and you mentioned it yesterday as well, the idea of stupid. Many of our parents, that was drilled into them by the elitist and the apartheid, and they in turn would then also use it on us, and then we perpetuate that idea onto our children.
I can confirm that by working with some of my clients. Unfortunately, that what comes up, the idea I am stupid, and this is so debilitating that really prevents people from doing what is right.
Right, yes. May Allah Ta'ala accept from you. Jazakumullahu khairan. Allah Ta'ala bless you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, we thank and praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say Jazakumullah khairan to Sheikh Kareem Maliki and to all those that have listened. Allah Ta'ala bless you, inshallah. If you want again to contact him, the number is 081 521 9803. And we'll be taking some ad breaks. We'll be right back after the break.